Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those who are new, welcome. My name is Monica. In today's video, I am doing another secret baby, surprise baby romance recommendation. This is one of my favorite tropes, and it's not the most popular one. I guess it's starting to become more popular thanks to Hannah Bonham Young with Out on a Limb. I'm not recommending that book in this video because everybody loves that book, and I don't feel like I feel like it stands on its own, and I'm glad it does because it's a great book. However, I want to recommend some more secret and surprise baby romances. Without further ado, let's just get into this video. My first recommendation is Dante by Sadie Kincaid. This is a mafia kidnapping secret, or I wouldn't say surprise secret baby. This is more of a surprise baby because he gets her pregnant. Well, he has her kidnapped. Our heroine, Kat, is taken because her brother owes the mafia money, and so she's taken as collateral and or payment, I should say. But Dante, he keeps her for himself. She's a nurse, and she can help with the medical stuff for the mafia soldiers who come in hurt, and she does. She fights him, okay? She fights him hard, and he likes it. She's feisty, and he likes it. Anyway, she had trigger warning for past kidnapping and sexual trauma that happened to her during that last kidnapping that did not turn out so well for her. That plays into the story. However, Dante and her have chemistry, and they have great banter. He's also the type of hero, touch her and I will kill you, and I will make it hurt. He didn't set out to get her pregnant. It just sort of happened. I loved it. Like, this is like mafia romance at its finest, in the surprise baby sort of a way, with all these little mafia romance elements. It just was such a delight. Sadie Kincaid, she was a new to me author. I haven't read Joey yet, which is the second book in the series. I cannot wait to read that one. It's on my TBR, but I do recommend this one. It was so great. One of the biggest things that I really loved about this was our hero Dante. He didn't have the toxic masculinity that other mafiosos have in these mafia romances, and I'm gonna leave it at that. You have to read this book in order to understand what I'm talking about, because the way he treats the women in his life. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. Another surprise pregnancy one that I would like to talk about is One Night by Lena Hendricks. This is the last book in her, I don't even know what the series is called, because this is the first book I've ever read from her, and this is it's the Sullivan Families. So this one is sort of a Romeo and Juliet. This is Grumpy Sunshine feuding families, and when she said Grumpy Sunshine feuding families surprise pregnancy, I was all in. Okay, listen, I've never read her before. I've been thinking about reading her, and then when Just from Peace Love Books said those tropes, and she was like, oh, I was like, oh, okay, I'm all about this, sure. And I'm glad I did. I gave 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed it. Duke and Sylvie, they had a secret friendship that started on text months before they even had their one-night stand that resulted in a pregnancy. And they didn't really buy into their feuding families. They really had a good, solid friendship before any of the pregnancy thing happened. And the pregnancy was the catalyst of them stepping out of the shadows and into the light to say, hey, we are together and you're just gonna have to suck it up. And so I actually really liked that Lena Hendricks used the pregnancy trope as a way to force them into acknowledging their romance. That's why I really liked it. Okay, it wasn't just like, oh, okay, we have to be together now because we're gonna have a baby. No, it was, okay, we have this, so let's let's be loud and proud. And that's why I really liked it. And so that's why I would absolutely recommend it, this one. Going back fairly far, this was published in 2018. It's Tragic by Devney Perry. This one will pull out your heartstrings because Cain lost his girlfriend and his unborn child. But it wasn't really his girlfriend, his brother. And you will see this in the Clifton Forge series. It's he's the brother of the hero, the older brother of the hero in the Clifton Forge series, in Riven Knight. Okay. His brother had a little too much to drink, drove and accidentally killed the passenger in the car who was pregnant with Cain's unborn child. And so he was dealing with that at the beginning of this book. And he's very much a loner and very much a recluse and does not like anybody. Piper Campbell has just moved into town. She's just getting out of a very toxic relationship with her ex-husband. Well, she's under the oppression she cannot have children. That's what her ex-husband told her, right? Because he took the phone call from the fertility clinic. She ends up moving next to Cain, and he's really grumpy. She's not so grumpy. And they end up butting heads, right? And then they end up having a sort of kind of like hate to love, but they with benefits. And she ends up getting pregnant. She's like, how am I getting pregnant? I did not know this. So one of the things that Piper has to deal with is what her ex-husband did to her. Her ex-husband was horrible and gaslit her. And this is definitely a trigger warning, and this is why I'm saying this if you're going to go into this book, is that he was the problem with the infertility. He blamed it on her and told everyone, including her, that she was the problem when in fact it was him. So she did not know that she needed to use protection. She thought she couldn't get pregnant. So she ends up getting pregnant with Cain, and it's their romance, and they have a lot to deal with. This is in the Lark Cove series. This one, I love this one. This one has a lot. This one's very messy. This one has a lot of drama. But this one also has, Cain has to go through a lot of character growth, as does Piper, and they do. And if you've been around here for a hot minute, you know how much I love a good, not just secret baby or surprise baby, but I love a good character growth. Like, character growth is one of the things I really look for when I'm looking into a good book, because it shows that the characters are learning their lessons as they're going through their stories, and that they deserve their happily ever after. And in this one, both do, and they not only grow separately as individuals, but they grow together. And there are no strings affair. It turns into something more, and it's really a beautiful story as it both deal with their traumas from their past. Cain with what happened with his ex and that car accident, and Piper with what happened with her ex-husband. And I love this book. I highly recommend it if you're looking for a good surprise baby romance. I highly, with that is messy, I highly recommend that one. Another one that is really messy, will make you want to punch the hero in the face several times, but the groveling in this one will make it worth it in the end, is Unbreak My Heart by Nicole Jacqueline. I read this with Cheyenne from That Tall Book Girl when she was running her Patreon for a while, and we did this for a book club, and I'm so glad she picked this one. This one like killed me. So this is about Kate, and Kate was always in love with Shane. Okay, Shane knew it, went and married her best friend Rachel. When Shane was in the military, Rachel always relied on Kate for everything. Kate really started raising Shane and Rachel's children. Well, fast forward years later, Rachel dies in a car accident. and Shane is devastated that his wife died in a car accident. He's never been quite nice to Kate after Shane figured out that Kate loved him. Everybody kept saying to Kate that she needs to continue to raise these kids as hers, and she loves these kids as they were hers, right? One night when he leaves and goes to this hotel, because he's about to deploy, she goes to find him, right? And they drunkenly have a one-night stand, and she gets pregnant. And he is not nice about it when he finds out. He was not nice when they wake up from that one-night stand either. He's like, you ruined my time that I had to grieve for my wife. And when he's deployed, she's coming in and she's taking care of these kids. He's not seeing that she's taking care of these kids. And then she's having this really hard pregnancy, and he's adding things onto it. And there's one scene where he goes to get the kids, and I'm like, I want to punch you in the face because you're being such an asshole. Like, I had a visceral... There's only a couple of books I've actually had this reaction to, and that's a sign of a good writer. I'm sorry, that's a sign. If you make me hate your hero this much, where I want to punch him in the face, you've written your character really well, okay? Because if I just don't care about your characters, you haven't written them well. But if I actually care about your characters, where I really hate them, or I'm really rooting for them, or I really love them, you've done your job, okay? So kudos to you. And because I felt for Kate, like I really felt for Kate. But then he figured out what he did and what he did wrong, and he really groveled. The groveling in this is so freaking good. Like, you love groveling, you love Secret and Surprise Baby, this is the book for you. He grovels. Once he figured out what he did wrong, oh man, he grovels. And he had to figure out that Rachel wasn't as great as he thought she was. And oh man, this is angsty, messy, and it will tear your heart out. And the grovel and the Surprise Baby, and it was so well done. I highly, highly, highly recommend this one. But you're going to want to punch him in the face a couple of times. You really are going to want to punch him in the face a couple of times. But trust me, you have to get through it in order to get, because they really do work for their HEA. So absolutely, I highly recommend this one. Now, if you want one that you know you're just going to love, and you love the character growth, and you already are invested in this series, and honestly, I have to give props to this one because I just love this one. It's Reckless by Elsie Silver. Theo, unlike our hero Shane, is not an asshole. He took care of Winter. He let Winter be the grumpy one, and he was the sunshiny one. He let her be the ice queen, and he loved her for it. Now, Winter, she went through major character growth from flawless all the way to now, okay? Which I love. And I loved how she evolved as a character. She covered her horrible ex-husband. And I loved how Theo got under her skin. They had their one-night stand. And I loved that he did not give up on her, and I love that she let him be who he was. And he didn't have to be the Joker all the time. And this one is more Secret Baby, okay? This one, the last two are more Secret Baby. So this one's a Secret Baby because he wasn't there for the pregnancy, right? He was there after the fact because he is a bull rider and he was on the circuit. Theo was just a good hero. But he wasn't overly complicated, unlike some of our heroes in the past, on some of the past recommendations that I just gave you in this video, because there's some really complicated heroes in these past, from like Unbreak My Heart. Okay, there's some pretty complicated heroes, whereas Theo isn't. He's straightforward. He wanted Winter. He set out to get her, and he got her, and he loved her for who she was, and he didn't try to change her. And Winter did not try to change him, and they could be themselves. Even when Theo wanted to be grumpy, he could be grumpy. And I loved that. And I loved that he wanted to be a dad, and he supported her for how she wanted to be. I loved how they supported each other, and I just loved the story. And I loved how when he found out he was a dad, he was like, okay, I'm in, and no questions asked. Once he found out he was the dad, he was in. That was it. And I loved that. So I would highly recommend this one. I'm sure you've read it, but I love that one, and I would recommend it again. Another one that I just recently read, this one is a secret baby, not a surprise pregnancy, is The Bride's Runaway Billionaire by Pippa Grant. This one is, he's a celebrity. She had a viral video go the wrong way because her horrible her horrible fiance embarrassed her, and she was a runaway bride. And so now they're both hiding in Fiji because he's getting a divorce and was trying to stay away from the press, and she's licking her wounds and trying to stay away from the press because, again, viral video, and you know how people can be. His name's Jonas and her name's Emma, and when they meet in Fiji, they click and they connect and they start doing things together, and they really connect, okay? And after a few days of doing things in Fiji together, they have a one-night stand, and then Jonas ups and leaves. 3 years later, she is back at home, and she has a son. His name's Sebastian, and he shows up because he found out that Sebastian is his son. He's never forgot Emma. He wanted to be with Emma. He was scared. He wanted to find out why she never told him he had a son. Well, she did try to tell him, but a lot of other women tried to tell him he was going to be a dad, and that was untrue. His PR person, didn't believe her and did not tell him that he really was going to be a dad, right? Anyway, there's a lot of hijink, Pippa Grant's brand of hijinks in this. So it is a romantic comedy, but I really liked the way she did the surprise pregnancy in this. I liked the way Emma made Jonas grovel, because he had some groveling to do because he picked up and left her and ghosted her for 3 years. And then he had to work his way back into her good graces. And I just really loved their dynamic. I loved their chemistry. I loved the way Jonas never stopped thinking about Emma. Emma never stopped thinking about Jonas. And I loved how Jonas was all in to be a parent to Sebastian. And it was great. Anyway, so those are some of my recommendations for Surprise and Secret Baby. Let me know if you have need for me down below, and if you would like to let me know that you've been here but you don't want to leave a comment, please leave me a baby emoji. And until next time, my friends, happy reading. Bye.